It was an irredeemable, unacceptable effort here at Amalie Arena. Hi, I'm Dan Kingerski on the National Hockey Now and the Pittsburgh Hockey Now YouTube channel with, we'll call it the 5-Minute Penguins postgame. I'm not sure I'll even make it that far because it was an embarrassing performance by the Penguins in a 3-1 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning. My colleague Josh Yohe asked Mike Sullivan a simple question in the postgame. Was this the most disappointing loss this season? Mike Sullivan simply said no. Now, you can take that a lot of different ways, but the reality is because the Penguins have submitted so many of these no-show, terrible, or embarrassing losses, take your pick on your adjective or what they've done wrong in various nights, whether it be disconnected, disjointed play, whether it's been disinterested play, whether it's been hard play against a good team like the New York Rangers, but an absolute power play failure. The Penguins have turned in far too many of these disappointing losses. The Penguins' power play is now 0 for its last 34. Not since November 11th against the Buffalo Sabres has the team scored a power play goal. Even Sidney Crosby on, what day is today? Wednesday, on Wednesday night here in Tampa. Crosby had 4 shots, Gensel had 5. On paper, the Penguins actually had more shot attempts than Tampa Bay. On paper, the Penguins had more expected goals than Tampa Bay. Now, anybody who watched that game, or I should say nobody who watched that game, would agree with the numbers assessment. That's part of the Penguins' problem. The numbers are telling them one thing. Reality, with a billy club, is beating them over the head with something else. And now I think we're getting to the point where this situation can't be tinkered with, it can't be toyed with, the status quo can't be changed with small changes. We are getting to that point as the Penguins have a sub 500 record, 11-11-3. That's far more losses. That's 14 losses and 11 wins in reality for the Penguins. Now, I know some people calculate 500 differently in hockey, but that's 22, 25 games, and the Penguins only have 24 points. That, to me, is under 500. Mike Sullivan admitted confidence was a problem. Evgeny Malkin, I thought, gave the best answer. You can check it out on this YouTube channel. Obviously, Evgeny, you can sometimes, it's a little bit difficult to understand him, but he's like, on the power play, we're like nervous. Can't get past the blue line. Can't get zone pressure. Can't get zone entries. Think about that. This team has fallen so far that getting a power play opportunity causes anxiety. That's where the Penguins are at this point. They've lost 3 straight, although technically they're 0-1-2 in their last 3 games. But nobody would tell you, certainly I will not, that they have played well. Let me fix my jacket. Nobody will tell you they're playing well right now. And I don't know where it goes from here. I don't know how they resuscitate, how they resurrect this. Mike Sullivan made a lot of line changes on Wednesday. Riley Smith started with Sidney Crosby and Jake Gensel. That lasted about 30 minutes. It had to go. It was not working. Riley Smith has two assists in his last 15 games, no goals. That's called going ice cold. Eventually, by the 3rd period, Sullivan had put Jake Gensel with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. Not even that could light the lamp. They had some chances. Kind of a makeshift 4th line with Jeff Carter in the middle with Alex Nylander and Jansen Harkins. Harkins is flying around. Listen, let me tell you something about Jansen Harkins here coming up in the 5-minute mark. If there's anybody trying to crack the lineup and stick around, it's Harkins. I don't necessarily see the hands in his game that scored a point per game in the AHL this year and last year. I don't necessarily see that from him, but I do see a speedy guy who's willing to be gritty, willing to go throw the body. In terms of bright spots, that might be it. I mean, look, here's some of the line combinations that Mike Sullivan tried. Of course, Riley Smith with Crosby and Gensel. Later, Lars Eller on the left wing with Evgeny Malkin and Brian Rust. Later, Riley Smith was down on the third line with Lars Eller and Radim Zohorna. They were trying everything. Listen, at this point, Mike Sullivan had ripped the kitchen sink off the wall, and he was just chucking that too. Nothing. And I mean, nothing worked. The Penguins did wind up with, 25 shots, I think. And a lot of that was because they finally began to pepper the net. And I don't mean this as an indictment of Mike Sullivan as the coach. I mean this as an indictment of the entire situation. And I put it to you, Greg. I mean this as an indictment of the situation in which Mike Sullivan spoke eloquently, passionately even, about putting shots to the net on Monday in Philadelphia. The Penguins in the first period maddeningly passed up shot after shot after shot, overpassing, turnovers, overpassing, turnovers. It was bewildering. I mean that it was stunning to watch. I'll probably tell you, I don't know what to tell you anymore. Normally I could toss out, hey, listen, here's what another team did, or, in the past this worked. I got nothing at this point. The team maybe implosion is too great of a word, but it's sort of just coming apart. It's not coming together, it's coming apart. And that, I think, is where we're going to end the Penguins postgame. Do me a favor, like and subscribe. Give me that little follow so we get a little bit of money from YouTube at the end of the month. Always, of course, comment, and I read them all, and I'll shoot back as necessary as you want as well. So, from Amalie Arena, I'm Dan Kingerski on the Pittsburgh Hockey Now and the National Hockey Now YouTube page.